Holy jeez.
When you're buying a house, it's very important not to inherit a property with illegal stuff. For example, if you're buying a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house and you discover a second bathroom, you might at first be very excited. Massive walk-in shower and toilet. This is a 3 and 2, and nobody on the internet knows. But then you might get to thinking, wait, it's probably not good that the public records don't show a second bathroom.
Unless it's not actually a 3 and 2 at the county, which would be bad.
That's right, because illegal permits can mean a few things for you. 1, tenant liability, that is, tenants could sue you for rent they paid if they or their attorney finds out they were living in an illegal unit. 2, your neighbors or tenant could in theory have this leverage over you that, hey, if you don't want to split the cost of that fence with me, Mr. Neighbor, I might just have to pick up the phone and report that illegal addition you've got.
Whose lot do you think this is?
And if you think about it, the tenant could do the same thing. Well, would really want that whole security deposit back. I mean, wouldn't want code enforcement to find out about that addition. And you could even be in a situation of having insurance deniability, so unpermitted things can be bad. Now, obviously, let's be real here. Are you supposed to permit a ceiling fan? Yes. Yes, you are. Are you probably going to have one of these 3 issues if you don't? Probably not. But what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube doing a voiceover over B-roll. So enter this house. It's been through a few things. Apparently it's been through foreclosure. I've been getting emails from people saying, Kevin, this property is land value only, if anything, maybe even less, because you have to demolish the monstrosity on it. Oh, and it's built on quicksand. Oh, and the foundation doesn't even have rebar, which is bad. So where are we today? Well, today I get raided by the building inspector. Now, wait, let's just back up for a moment. See, savvy real estate investors know that getting the building department involved while you're in escrow to purchase a property is a big no-no. By the way, being in escrow is a level of bought, so yes, I can say that I bought this property. It's kind of like the store owner selling a piano and hanging up the sold sign. You're just waiting for the contract to complete. Which, on the note of contract, here's the part of the contract I signed that says, buyer shall neither make nor cause to be made any inspections by any governmental building or zoning inspector or government employee. Now, think about the pros and cons here for a moment. Getting a building inspector involved means possible code violations or possible fines and possible enforcement action, which is really a huge liability for the seller if there are any problems at the property. Most sellers say, no, do not get the building inspector involved, please. And that's why this has come to be a pre-printed part of the California Association of Realtors legal contracts. See, say a building inspector comes by and fines the property, the seller is stuck with the fines, and I might just decide to walk away and take my deposit with me. Or for some reason, say I'm the kind of buyer that doesn't want to deal with the city whether or not there are problems. I might not want them there either. See, in California, many cities don't require any kind of city inspection when you go to close real estate, with the exception of like Santa Barbara, which does. This means that most people can actually get away with illegal additions and conversions pretty much forever. And a lot of people are okay with that. Except I'm not, because I'm really anti-risk and anti-liability. And fortunately, I'm also a pretty good real estate agent who actually reads his contracts, so I hit the listing agent up and got permission to bring in a building inspector, which honestly, probably not the best move on their part, but hey, they're a bank, so thank you, I guess. By the way, quick intermission, happy Black Friday, everybody. Please enjoy coupon code Black Cyber Sale for 27% off the courses linked below. That includes the real estate investing course with private live streams, the sales course with private live streams, the do-it-yourself property management course, and the personal finance course. Oh, and don't forget our real estate crash course in Vegas on February 20th at the Bellagio with lunch included. Also on sale with this coupon code. Now, while everything starts off very normally with the building inspector, we introduce each other.
Hey, how you doing? Great, thank you. I got my little guy Jack here. I hope you don't mind. But anyway, yeah, welcome. My name's Kevin.
Kevin, how are you? I'm Larry.
Great, thanks. I'm in escrow to buy this thing.
Oh, and honestly, pro tip here, most remodelers don't call their building inspectors enough. They call for bare minimum inspections, and then the inspectors come pissed off because they can't tell what you've just covered up. And then the inspectors have to decide whether or not they want to be the bad cop and make you punch holes in the wall or in the work that you just completed to prove that, let's say, you insulated the property correctly, or they just let it slide to the demise of the next buyer. But anyway, it's always good to start things off with more inspections. More is usually better. The inspectors usually don't get upset by that, obviously, unless you're abusing the process.
What's good
Yeah.
is that everything's exposed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is we could see everything.
Anyway, another downside of everything being exposed is the inspector starts to see all of the new framing.
Hard to tell though,
See, like,
because this is all new almost, huh?
yeah, look at how they're holding that roof up, you know?
Is that funky?
It is funky,
Uh-oh.
but we're gonna have somebody with one of our stronger structure guys probably come through. Man, there's metal cans throughout, which is good.
I mean, do you think there's a chance they would just call for an architect and plans on this and engineering?
I'm hoping so.
You hope they would?
Architect or
Yeah.
an engineer. See how they're gonna.
Which, here's why that's a little bit of a problem. See, when it comes to renovations, there are 3 methods. Method number 1, no permits. Yay, easy project. Method number 2, permit. Yay, I'll do my job, get it all done, and then I'll just wait the 4 hours for the inspector to show up with a massive arrival window. Then I'll get some minor, stupid corrections that are really frustrating. I'll go ahead and take care of those really quick, but then I'll have to wait in that 4-hour arrival window again, and boom, it's over. That's not that bad. In fact, I'd actually say that option 1 here and option 2 are actually both pretty easy. Method number 2 just costs you a little bit of money and some more time.
Hey Jack, the building inspector's coming. Let's go. Let's go talk to the building inspector.
No, it's hide from them.
Why do you want to hide from them?
I don't like them.
Well, Jack, you are pretty much an advanced remodeler now.
Then enter option number 3, which this is really the option that everybody wants to avoid because you just have a major jump in the pain threshold. This is where if a building inspector sees that there's been any kind of re-engineering or framing of a property, they pretty much require you have plans. And here's what plans require. An architect, which usually costs you like $7,000 to $12,000 for a project like this. An engineer to verify what the architect did and drew out and do the structural calculations. That's gonna cost, $4,000 to $10,000 for a project like this. Then you're gonna have to put in 6 weeks for plan approval time. Then there are going to be plan corrections. That'll take you another 4 weeks. Then you can actually start work and get your 4-hour inspection windows probably a solid 10 times. And by the end of this, you'll never want to do another remodel in your life because you just went through, well, you get the idea. So remember, since I had permission to talk to the building inspector, you better believe I want it to be as detailed as possible. And this isn't to try to hurt the seller or be spiteful or try to negotiate. No, I had permission, and you figure, hey, if they gave me permission, I may as well do absolutely everything I can to protect myself. I want to know the worst case scenarios. I want to know, hey, if there are foundation problems, is the county going to get involved? If there are problems with unpermitted additions, are you guys going to get involved? If you think there is a need for plans, please tell me that now. And so pretty much at every turn, when he started encouraging plans, I started vomiting a little bit because even though that was partly what I somewhat expected, it's not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, because they're gonna put tile on there. They plan to put tile in the shower.
Oh, so they just floated on it.
Yeah, so they just did their lath.
Okay.
And yeah.
But again, I'd rather know that before actually closing escrow on the property. That way I can plan accordingly rather than being surprised. This is why proper due diligence is so important.
But yeah, but look at all this plumbing, everything's done, ready to go, it seems like,
It does.
But I am concerned that, when your senior guys comes out and then they say, oh, well, you need plans and architect, and it kicks everything back 8 weeks, It's just good to know up front.
Dive into that with what they're going to want you to do. I don't want you to get too much farther and then you need to jump through some other hoop,
for
you know, an
sure.
engineer or an architect.
Now, this is the part where he starts getting into the idea of, you know what, don't do any work until you have an architect or engineer, which basically shuts down all of my plans of having my tiler scheduled, my plumber scheduled, my floor guy scheduled, my kitchen scheduled. I can kick all that down the road, probably 8 to 12 weeks. See, it's not just hiring an architect and then here you go, County of Ventura, here, review these plans for 6 weeks. It's find an architect who's available, have them go measure the job, then have them take 3 to 4 weeks to actually write up the plans, and then I could submit the plans for plan review. This place will be sitting here empty for months. See, even specifically when I mentioned the addition, he inspected that the planning department will have a look at even things like historical satellite images.
And then, you know, the foundation guy said we got an add-on. How do I know if that's, you know, permitted?
I know. That's what you're gonna look. They're gonna run this address, this parcel, and they're gonna see anything and everything that's been done on file. They'll be able to look at previous pictures before that addition was
Oh,
on.
really?
So we'll see what he added,
And if there are no plans for the addition?
then we know there's no plans.
Oh, okay, so there are no plans that at least they gave me. That would then be a pretty big red flag for you, because it's gonna come up, right?
It's gonna come up, yeah. We gotta know how this house was built, what kind of foundation it's on, you know?
So this, and I mean, I don't know if it matters, but the foundation guy that came out yesterday, he said there's a slab here. Just stay here for 1 second, please, Jack. I want you to stay in the house with me. In 1 minute, we can get the golf ball. There's a slab here. It's raised here, and then it's slab again over there, and then it's raised here, and there's a different foundation over there. So I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of overwhelming. And, you know, they're saying there's possibly no rebar in some of these foundation walls, which I'm wondering, is that just original?
They're gonna have you expose some of this foundation and footings, and we're gonna see how deep they are and so forth once we get on down the road.
If we have to get plans and engineering and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'd ask them right away, what's going on with this? I mean, because we gotta do an initial inspection on it.
So this isn't really qualifying as like an initial.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff in. Your plumbing's not terminated. There's a lot going on here.
So for this not to have plans is probably a red flag.
I want to know how they built it, how they built that addition.
Right.
So have them dig into that, okay, when you go change your name on that.
Because I saw this permit, but then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking anybody can just walk up and pay for a permit. This doesn't actually mean anything's legit about it, right?
The last inspection was done here May of last year.
Okay. And what was that?
It was crimp all ground splices, install exterior receptacles at doors, insulate all hot water lines in unconditioned space, exterior walls, upgrade service to 200 amp, your electrical.
Yeah, and that's about probably when they lost this, because this went through foreclosure. So there are like no records of what the owner did. Come on, Jack.
And ultimately, if there are no records available, don't think that's a blessing for you, because it's not. See, with building and safety, the burden of proof is on you, the owner, that the building is safe. You don't get grandfathered in just because there were magically no plans for your building. So given the framing and the comments on the additions, I have a pretty strong feeling I'm pretty dang well screwed on this one, and this is not going to be a 2-month remodel. It's going to be a 6-month remodel, thanks to having to get plans and architecture involved.
You know, they might re-engineer the foundation and the walls and everything if these are unpermitted add-ons, right?
Yeah, they're gonna try to work with what you do have.
Okay.
It looks like a newer roof.
It looks brand new, yeah.
Now remember that submarine bomb that ended up being a propane tank? Yeah, the inspector realized that it's not even properly mounted, and in a little bit of an earthquake, we could basically have a propane bomb rolling down the hill.
Oh, that's just sitting on there?
And you got propane in there.
So loosely attached and full of propane, ready to roll down in an earthquake. Jeez. You know, like, the foundation guy, they're like, Kevin, you might have to replace the foundation on this house, because this stuff is all the way around. They counted 12 of those.
12 cracks?
Yeah, all the way through and through cracks. And they say, you know, there's no rebar in this concrete possibly. So they're like, you know, 80 grand to replace the thing. Is that a scam?
No, man, you gotta be on a good foundation, but
And this is what's making me start realizing maybe, just maybe, what led this property into foreclosure. Now, here are some things I'm working on now. Number 1, getting the seller to respond to my foundation complaints. Number 2, finding the septic tank and inspecting the condition of that. Number 3, verifying the lot boundaries and possible title issues. Number 4, getting contractor bids. And number 5, praying. And so there you have it. Thanks so much for watching. Check out the courses linked down below, and until next time.
But I just wondered what they built on. This foundation is cracked friggin' everywhere, you know? Yeah. So get that figured out, and we'll be back out, and I'll probably bring someone else with me, and then we'll just go walk around, okay?
That's part of the pipe. You could put a ball in there if you want. That works. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that.
Kevin, all right, man.
Yeah.
You take care.
I'll
Happy
take care of
Thanksgiving.
this. Thanks.
Get
Same
that
to you.
taken care of,
Yes.
and we're just gonna have to go
You
through
want
it.
my
Okay?
blanket?
Ask as many questions as you can.
Thank you for that.
You got it.